Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hi. Oh man, I ended up taking a nap, and then after I woke up, I had to finish some stuff, and then now I'm here. And oops, let me just arrange my layout real quick. Okay, all good. Time to finally do that one event that I missed. Oh man. And then eventually, the other stuff. I'll do like maybe half of this, I guess. I think half is safe for today. We'll see how it goes. I feel so teased. I want that food. I want that burger. I want that donut. And I want the blue drink. So now for 8.7 Bitter Thorns and Daisies. Pain has become the proof of guilt, and all salvation shall become a deadly poison. Ooh, tomorrow's Kenshin Day. Okay, yay. Also, I was good. I bought that one craft essence in the store. The Korean Chihuahua one. If you remember correctly, this event continues from when we investigated the secret Ardea space after Helena flew away. And we got saved at the last second by the Zero squad. Oh man, Helena. Helena. Promise day. Zuchero's most important guest is about to arrive. Oh, that base of the giant plant Boojum. The first rays of daybreak stream in through the trees that line the pavement, shining into a perfectly ordinary little cafe by the side of the street. A girl dressed like a shop attendant is hard at work, cleaning up the planters, making snacks, and changing out the coffee beans. She systematically works through the tasks that have to be completed before the cafe can open for business. Perhaps it's because her neural cloud is occupied by these routine tasks, but she doesn't seem to notice the footsteps approaching her. Springfield circles around to the other side of the counter and watches a look of surprise on the other girl's face with interest. I want to go to the cafe. Since Racy and Springfield look up at the same time, this cafe, decorated in retro style, has a signboard reading Zuchero at its door. And yeah, they did have the voices to the event, which is nice. Wait, did it freeze? Did it break the game? Wait, no, it's better now. Phew! Maybe my mic... Oh, not my mic. My mouse isn't working. Scared me for a moment. The Zuchero Cafe is not only a popular hangout for the local residents, but also a secret clearinghouse run by ex-Griffin dolls to help their colleagues obtain information and seek help. After many years, the cafe has gradually put down roots and flourished, and it is entirely due to the efforts of the dolls who run it. Springfield nods to Centauracy and smiles. They are here today. Centauracy nods. Springfield steps behind a nearby cabinet and quickly dons an apron before helping to portion out the desserts Centauracy has made before placing them into the cold case. Seemingly spotting something of note, Springfield pauses as she tops off the milk in the coffee machine. Then she leans in close and takes a sniff of the grinder hopper. Ooh, special coffee.
衛星都市でもなかなか手に入らない一品です。かなりの間コーラプスピースを貯めて買ったと記憶しています。
Wait, how expensive was this coffee?
それを全部使うのですか？
Upon hearing Springfield speak, Sensori's face flushes a faint pink.
はい。今日は最高の一杯を提供したいので。
I wanna try. Sensorisi turns a calendar on the counter to a new page with a thoughtful look on her face. Each box on the calendar is filled with entries for events in different styles of handwriting, such as meet with coffee bean supplier, trim the lawn, 100th Zucchero Live, and so on. Meanwhile, today's box has only one word on it. Reserved.
そういえば、そのお客さんへのプレゼント、用意はできましたか？
Present?
はい。店長の誠意を感じていただくために入念に準備いたしました。さすが気が利けますね。あなたがいなかったらと思うと痛み入ります。ところでクッキーが焼けました。味見してみますか？
I want a cookie. Oh yeah, speaking of cookies, I felt so trolled today. I bought what looked like a pack of cookies, right? It was... Well, it didn't have a label on it, so I just bought it because I'm like, I was assuming it's cookies. It looked like cookies. Opened the bag. And as soon as I bit into it, I'm like, what is this? It's cake. I felt so trolled. Like, oh, this is how people feel with that whole, like, is it cake thing? I fell a victim. Like, it was tasty. It was good. I ate it all, but at the same time, I was craving cookies, so I'm like, ah, this does not hit the spot.
後のこと頼みましたよ。はい、ご指示通りに遂行します。
Santorisi doesn't say anything else, turning aside to let Springfield through, as though they've rehearsed this movement countless times before. Springfield opens the door to the kitchen and pushes the cake flour on the shelf to one side before moving the syrup on the topmost shelf to the other cabinet. After tidying the place up, she moves the cabinet aside, revealing a patch of wall whose colors are brighter on account of not being exposed to the sun as much as its surroundings. Finally, she knocks twice on the wall. The wall section creaks, and then it suddenly splits open along a hidden seam, revealing a secret passage just large enough for a single person to pass through. In the darkness, Springfield expertly feels her way along the wall and finds a switch on it. A light comes on and illuminates the interior. A huge display monitor dominates the cramped room and turns on the lights, displaying several locations being monitored by security cameras. Springfield scans the images on the screen, then presses the intercom button below it.
頼もしいスタッフが増えたので余裕ができたんです。それで何か新しい商品はありますか？もちろんだ。何が欲しい？コーヒー豆。それも甘みを引き立たせるものを。
Coffee beans.
常連の方がいらっしゃるんです。
And sweeter ones.
この前マキアートさんに届けさせた特製ドリンク。無事届きましたか？
Oh, the special one was that good. I want some.
話を戻しましょう。そのお客さん、実は今日ご来店なさります。なので万全を期したいんです。何かいい
What could possibly go wrong?
ズッケロ最重要の VIP です。
Oh my goodness, the most valuable client. I wonder who that could be.
仕事に関しては私はいつだって真剣ですよ。すまん、そういう意味じゃないんだ。そうだな。確かに今日はうってつけの豆が入ってる。
Extra coffee beans.
だが追加料金が必要
no, how much are they gonna spend? Springfield soon receives a message. After she reads it, it automatically deletes itself.
助かりました。
Beep beep beep. Just as she's about to continue, an internal call suddenly comes over her communicator.
すみません、用事が。
The other party hangs up and Springfield answers the call. She immediately hears a familiar voice. Hey, Macchiato. Springfield looks at the screen. The security camera shows several thugs swaggering down the street.
なるほど。シャークリーさんにお任せしましょう。シャークリーさん。はい、北西に厄介なお客さんが。対応お願いしますね。
Sharkry got this. On a building roughly 1 kilometer away from the Zucchero Cafe, Macchiato is lying prone behind a set of guardrails on a balcony, concealed by a camouflage cape. After hearing the voice through her communicator, she finally shifts her gaze away from the optical scope for a minute. As she watches the doll in the distance sauntering off with exaggerated dance-like steps, Macchiato grumbles to herself.
ねえ、あの子大丈夫なの？
Did they keep the dinner gate, that one adorable dinner gate? I want to see that one again. It's cute. I mean, a terrifying warrior. There's doubt written all over Macchiato's face as she continues studying Sharkry through her scope. Clearly, she is not convinced by Springfield's words. However, the suspicious individuals each fade from Macchiato's view over the course of the next few minutes. Sharkry's voice comes over the transmission. Oh, protection money. Oh yeah, she got this. The sounds of flesh being bludgeoned fills the channel. What a splendid performance!
敵を油断させる見た目と雰囲気も能力のうちってことね。あら、嫉妬しているんですか？してない。誰があんな子供みたいな人形なんかに。私には10歳あれば十分よ。
Yeah, who would get jealous? Totally not her. Sharkry suddenly cuts into the transmission, striking a pose before proudly declaring her work is done. Sharkry, what's that behind you? Sharkry glances back and delivers a lightning-fast kick that sends the arm back into the dumpster. Well, that's creepy. The priority. We're just gonna leave them in the trash. Although she has an annoyed scowl on her face, Macchiato's already getting to work on her final task. First, she opens her terminal and refreshes her data links. Scenes from the cameras monitoring the streets around the Zucchero flash through her mind. Macchiato's neural cloud carefully parses and filters every single suspicious individual and sound, as well as windows and vehicles that could be used to spy on them. The 14th check reveals no suspicious conditions. The surrounding streets are safe. Having reached that conclusion, Macchiato stands up and looks down from the highest ground in the city. As a professional sniper, she knows the layout of this place like the back of her hand. Well, this is a satellite city in the green zone. She can have a bullet in the opposition's skull within half a second of any threat exposing themselves, should the situation call for it. Considering what kind of occasion the day is, she does not want any unexpected interruptions. After verifying the situation, Macchiato disconnects the data cable that's plugged into the floor port before returning her exquisite rifle into its violin case and leaping off the side of the building. Hello, hello. 20 minutes later, after Zucchero's door chime rings for the last time today, the 4 members of the cafe's staff are finally gathered inside the cafe. Yum. Macchiato accepts the cup and gets a whiff. The rich scent of roasted caramel wafts into her nose. She takes a sip, and her tense nerves promptly relax. Man, that sounds so good. I want to know what kind of drink Sensei would make me. Like, look at how amazing those tailored drinks are. Wow. A good unit to roll for? Oh gosh, what game? Oh, I could have her make me drinks in the crew deck. But I need to summon her first, right? Or can I still have her do that even without actually summoning her? Perhaps she's trying to change the subject, or perhaps she really is bothered by something. Annoyed, Macchiato turns to look outside the window, drumming her fingers on the table. Probably have to summon, darn. The dolls all look outside. Crowds of people mill back and forth on the street, but the person they're all hoping to see hasn't shown up yet. Oh, for girls Frontline. I want to say go for everyone. If possible. Or at the very least, the current banners. Like, they seem fun. I'm still gathering a little bit more luck. Time ticks by, and as the sun rises, the anticipation in the girls' hearts soon becomes worry. Did something happen to her on the way here? They don't want to speculate on the reasons for it, however, their guest has always been a very punctual person. Ring ring, ring ring. The cafe telephone rings in the silence. Springfield heads over to the counter and picks it up immediately. As though she's been waiting for it all this time. As she raises it to her ear, she mimes a shushing gesture to the other members of the cafe. However, the voice on the other end of the line is not the voice they have longed for. Springfield immediately turns to put her back to the counter and gives the other 3 dolls meaningful looks.
あなたは世間話は結構です。この通信コードを使っているということはあの方と一緒なのですね。
その通り。だから救援要請を送れば答えてくれるわよね。
要点をお願いします。
ちょっとアクシデントが起きちゃってね。コードレッドよ。ルートと座標を送ったわ。
Code Red A.
あなたを助けられるかはあなたたちにかかってる。じゃあまた後でね。ズッケルの皆さん。
After some silence, Dandelion hangs up.
どういうお客さんの方でトラブルが起きました。配送サービスが必要になります。店長、緊急プランで行きますか。少し待ってください。
While she has rehearsed the scenario in her neural cloud countless times, Springfield still wants to ensure that the plan goes off without a hitch.
マキアートさん、プラン A でお願いします。運転も頼みましたよ。了解。シャークリさん、護衛をお願いできますか。ソフトウェアのインストールは済んだはずです。
大丈夫。何度もシミュレーションで訓練したから。
センターレイシーさん、お客さんへのプレゼント開けることになるかもしれません。
Ooh, the present.
丹精込めて用意したと思いますが、すみません。気にしないでください。肝心なのは相手に届けることですから。
Oh, I'm excited for the present.
必要な手段を取る、それだけのことです。ありがとうございます。私は店内に残ってバックアップを行います。最悪の場合、緊急プランを発動します。そうなった時はズッケロに戻らずセーフハウスで合流してください。了解。店長もお気をつけて。はい。センターレイシーさん、みんなをお願いします。
To think this is supposed to be a sweet coffee date.
ええ、一人も壊させません。私たちの帰りを待っててください。
The Venetian blinds slowly close, hedging the sunlight outside the cafe, and the sound of her cafe door closing is drowned out by the clack 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 of rounds being chambered. A place which provides a delicious food in times of leisure, and one which protects that which is important in times of danger. That is what Zucchero is. I almost forgot we had to fight. I still want to see that one dinner date again. That lion outfit was adorable. It was too cute for the world, what the heck. Ta-da! I still love this outfit. I need Andrus for her outfit too. Omen. What? You don't like it being called Omen? Oh man, not an omen. Oh man, omen. 2 kilometers due west of the Intercontinental Railway Transfer Station, black-colored IFVs drive out of the mist, the autocannons in their turrets sweeping left and right, searching for enemies. There's a large pit in front of these IFVs. One of them comes to a halt around 50 meters away from the pit. After ensuring the situation is safe, its rear hatch slams to the ground. Black armored troopers cautiously dismount, turning on the powerful flashlights mounted on their weapons and illuminating the vast, seemingly bottomless pit before them. The sky starts to drizzle and the soldiers' bracelets start to turn yellow. However, the troopers ignore the rising particle density. After the squad disperses and takes formation, a red-haired woman emerges from the vehicle. She walks past the troopers and up to the pit. The troopers act like they don't see her, their guns raised as they continue watching their surroundings for danger. She raises a cigarette to her mouth and lights it before looking disdainfully into the pit and taking a puff. The rain unfortunately puts the cigarette out. The woman scowls, then tosses the cigarette to the ground before forcefully stomping it out. Hello, mystery lady. Behind her, several more IFVs drive up to the pit. Black armored troopers quickly dismount and spread out to scan their surroundings. Soon, they fill up the space in front of the pit. The badges on the black armored troopers proclaim them to be from Mongi security, but their equipment and attitudes are markedly different from the average PMC grunt. Ah, Mongi. The woman changes the channel on her radio and begins giving orders. She takes out another cigarette and lights it. After taking a puff, she pauses for a moment. Then the woman slowly exhales a cloud of smoke before giving her orders. Kill everything that moves, oh no! The black armored troopers are silent. The woman gestures, and 3 teams of men immediately pivot and head into the pit, while the other 2 begin establishing a defense line around them. The woman continues smoking her cigarette. The soldier behind her waits until she's done before walking up and asking her a question. That face. Lentine points at the terminal in her hand, which shows a view from a trooper's helmet camera system. She grimaces in disgust as she looks at the insignia on the wall, and she covers it up by lighting another cigarette. The squad leader shakes his head. Nickname? Calamity? Omen? The woman suddenly laughs out loud, then cuts off her laughter by sticking a cigarette into her mouth. After taking a puff and getting her breathing under control again, she begins to speak. Yeah, Calamity sounds cool. I mean, I'd rather be called Calamity than Omen. She points at the squad leader's head. Kenny. Ok. Kenny's momentarily at a loss for how to respond. Just then, a voice comes in over the radio, and the 2 of them end their chit-chat to check their terminals. All the explosives. Lentine tosses a cigarette, but aside, and heads for her IFE, with Kenny trailing after her. Once they get inside, the monitors inside the vehicle show the positions of the combat team members who have entered the tunnels and the view from their body cameras. On the screen, the black armored troopers are moving from the elevator platform toward a huge smash gate. They enter the room beyond, covering each other in a leapfrog fashion. The room inside contains several dozen huge culture tanks with human body parts enmeshed with plant tendrils floating in the culture solutions. Ew. The power source in their middle glows dimly.
サンプルを複数発見。エネルギー供給が切れてる。
ポットから離れろ。ミッションレベルを2に引き上げる。
了解。共有します。
下は儀式の間か。ここまでグリーンエリアに近いとは。
奴らめ、調子に乗りやがって。
感情で判断を鈍らせるな。私たちは金をもらって火消しをするだけだ。ブラボーも地下に向かわせろ。
Just simple gophers.
了解。
Kenny keys his radio and gives orders to the combat team on the perimeter. Lentine's eyes are focused on the screen. The images from the camera continue moving as the troopers take plastic explosives out of their backpacks, which they plant in various corners of the room.
周囲に適正生物はいない。爆薬設置完了。次の指示を。
そのまま進。
Rip to that guy. There's a shot from behind, and the image shakes violently. The viewpoint quickly turns to the rear, where a trooper in the back has been impaled through the forearm by a thorny plant stem from one of the culture tanks. Oh, that is horrifying. The trooper tries to escape, but the stem burrows deeper into his flesh. Purple liquid oozes out of the stabbed area, and the trooper's arm immediately swells up. The man beside him draws a knife from his waist and promptly chops off the wounded man's forearm. The stabbed soldier wails in agony, staggering back from the pain and shock. His teammate pulls out a medkit and administers a styptic and painkillers. The camera view shifts to the plant that is still burrowing deeper into the severed arm. A white-colored mist sprays in from off-camera.
異常発生。一人負傷。液体窒素を使用する。
The vegetation soon freezes over. Unable to bear the weight of the forearm, it falls to the ground and splinters into many pieces.
近づくなとあれほど言ったのに。
Lentine sighs and rubs her temples.
負傷者を上へ。
Lentine leans back into her chair and addresses Kenny in a mocking tone.
腕一本で済んだんだ。運がいい。
Wow. For the low price of half an arm, he gets to collect a big fat compensation paycheck.
負傷したのはメイシオ。確かうちに来て10年目です。
そんなに経つのか。もしもの話だが、私が今の仕事に飽きたらお前が副司令だ。適当に負傷引退するから退職金は多めに出してくれよ。
Ma'am.
ご冗談を。自分の報酬を仲間に分ける人間なんてあなた以外いませんよ。
お前もなのか？
ええ。分けたくないですね。
Hell no.
ケチだな。
Lentine pouts to express her displeasure, but they've been through this routine so many times before that Kenny doesn't bother following up on the old gag with her.
爆薬の設置は
あと2部屋で完了です。
予想よりは順調だな、今日の仕事は。
Suddenly, Lentine pulls off her earpiece. Kitty's about to speak, but she signals for him to stop.
これはヘリコプターか。
ヘリコプター？
The squad leader removes his earpiece, listens carefully, then shakes his head.
でもそんな音は。
今日はどこも飛行計画を出してないはずだよな。
こんなところで律儀に出す人なんていませんよ。
Helicopters are loud. I'm amazed he didn't hear it. Lentine frowns and puts her earpiece back on, but she continues speaking in an unhappy tone.
嫌な予感がする。
副司令、ブラボーより報告。情報にないエレベーターとその下に大量の熱源反応を発見しました。画面を送ります。
The two of them turn back to the screen, it flashes, and then its perspective changes. This time, the viewer is looking into the pit with a thermal imager.
規模は
お待ちを。スキャン完了。少なくとも40体と巨大な反応が一つ。
40 life forms.
ブージャムか。儀式が終わる前に私たちを呼ぶとは珍しい。
The sound of gunshots comes over the transmission, seemingly from a long distance away.
発砲を確認。警戒。
戦闘か。
いえ、どこもそんな報告は。
下で何かが起きてる。デルタは爆薬設置を引き継いで、残りの隊は下に向かえ。ミッションレベルをさらに繰り上げる。ブージャムとの戦闘用意。
了解。
Although the answer was simple enough, there was an added hint of nervousness in the man's voice. From 3 to 1.
予算の謎が解けたな。だが、グリーンエリアの近くのブージャムだ。カルベングループといえどラインを越えたな。ま、私たちには関係ないことだ。待機。
Suddenly, they hear bullets strike the exterior armor plate of the vehicles, followed by an emergency transmission over the radio.
未確認人形と交戦中。地下空間へ侵入しようとしています。
人形だと数は
不明。スナイパーによって2名が負傷。動けません。
ケニー、装甲車を支援に向かわせろ。こんな時に
This is like the worst workday for them. Kenny climbs into the gunner's seat and prepares to manually control the autocannon for the attack. However, there's a sound of a crisp impact from outside the vehicle, and the gunner's monitor in the front of him promptly bursts into a sea of static.
無駄だ。相手はただものじゃない。アルファを乗せて現場へ向かうぞ。
Oh, fighting already? I'm approaching the coordinates Miss Dandelion sent us. I see some IFVs here. They might end up being a big threat to us.
邪魔よ。
I've destroyed their optics. They shouldn't be able to do anything for the time being. The little curtsy. Got it. Ready to break in? Yeah, give me 30 seconds and I'll be at your position ASAP. Shakri, stay inside and keep the engines running. Prepare to head out at any time. So you won't get a chance to shine? Not unless you want some 25mm ventilation in your frame. Okay then, but don't take your time. Nah, it'll be fast, no worry, Shakri. No fear, no pain. See?
止められない。人形たちが地下に。
この戦い方にこの戦闘力。まさか。
こちらブラボー。未確認人形と遭遇。至急応援を。
下に
Hello, hello.
面白くなってきた。
面白い。
3人を残して負傷者を手当てさせろ。残りは私と来い。
Well, at least Lantine's into this. Good for her. Meanwhile, on the other side of the pit...
敵はあとどれくらいなの？
Oh, look, it's the little dinner gate. The dandelion dinner gate.
何か方法？
Well, I couldn't have my other dinner gate, but this one's fine.
真面目に答えて。
私たちの増援に到着すれば大
Like, why are dinner gates so adorable?
どこにそんな戦力が。
Just then, I hear a familiar yet unfamiliar voice in my earpiece. The moment I do, I know that we've been tossed a lifeline.
ダンデライオンの救援信号を受信しました。現在そちらへ急行中です。バックヤードに同行しております。
Dandelion, my beloved.
どうやら今日も死に損なったわね。ダンデライオン、センタウレーシーの位置を。
とっくに送ったわ。
The enemy's weight of fire is massive. The sooner we're out of here, the better, considering we don't know if more enemy reinforcements will show up. I quickly glance through the signal icons on my terminal. Since Racy and the others are approaching fast, from their position, I can count on them to help me pin through the enemy. However, we'll need to take Helena back from the Bujum first. I look around. Diana's hitting the enemy with everything she's got. Kolf and the Helena she's protecting are looking at me with frightened eyes. We don't have much room for error, but I'm certain that even after all this time, the dolls can still work well together. There's no more time to hesitate. I quickly decide on my next move and give my orders.
ダイエン。はい。降雨とともに私の指す方向の敵の注意を引きつけて、背後から増援が来る。了解。ダンデライオン、攻撃ルートを算出して。
演算結果を今送ったわ。
Well, Dandelion, you're already ahead of the game.
センタウレーシー、到着したら私の合図があるまで待機。
承知しました。10分後に到着します。
ダイエン、私が合図したら増援が敵がいる突破口に突っ込んで。コーン、お姉ちゃんともども頼りにしてるからね。任せて。そう言ってくれてると安心するわ。こちらは
長期旅って私たちの新しい仲間です。
New friend.
そう、長期、あなたは身のこなしが良さそうだから、ダンデライオンがヘレナの防衛システムをシャットダウンさせた後、連れ戻してくれない？
さすが噂の指揮官。初対面で特性を見抜くなんて。
行かないなら私が行くからね。
Yeah, first time we met.
私が行く。
ありがとう。合図を待って。
I look up at the Helena who's still floating in the air. She's watching us struggle with a look of amusement on her face. I pay her no further attention and look down at the Helena in front of me.
あなたも
Hello, hello.
いいよね。
So many Helena. Helena D68.
行きたい。
死にたくない。
I see the determination in her eyes, and then I turn to Kolf.
この子のヘレナを守ってあげて。
Kolf reaches down to support the Helena beside her and looks up at the airborne Helena.
ホルベたちに知ってるヘレナちゃんは
大丈夫。きっと無事よ。
Saying so, I turn to look at the hovering Dandegate. Ah, yes, the Dandegate.
ダンデライオン、できる？
After I give my orders, the dolls all look at me. I take a deep breath and wait for the transmission to come in.
ご主人様。配信に着きました。ご主人。
了解。行動開始。
Since Aracy and Macchiato silently drop down onto the elevator platform at the bottom of the shaft, while their black armored enemies are focused and firing in the other direction. They suddenly open fire, cutting the black armored troopers down before they even know what's going on. The dolls soon take the position that the enemy once occupied and begin providing us with cover fire. The Jandigate flies up to Helena, who seems unhappy. The spherical defense systems begin to glow, but Dandelion seizes control of them before they can finish charging up. Now time for bad kids. Before she can finish, the three spheres glow and then revert to their box form, which encloses Helena. Zahui throws out a grappling line and immediately swings toward high ground while Diane and Jiangyu rush towards Centaurace. Everyone breaks into a mad dash, with Centaurace and Macchiato pinning them down. The enemy's volume of fire is significantly reduced. I'm running at the group's head while Kof and Helena follow close behind me. Diane and Jiangyu bring up our rear. As we approach Centaurace, I notice a flickering of flashlights in a tunnel off to our side. Not the blind spot! Diane and Jiangyu immediately rush to the head of the group and turn to face the enemy reinforcements. Jiangyu presses on my shoulder to get my head down, while she and Diane block the bullets from the side. The two dolls mount the fighting retreat away from the enemy. Dazzling flashes of light erupt as bullets splinter and fragment against their frames, but they grit their teeth and continue returning fire. Looking up, I can see that Zahui has taken the Helena box out of the air, and she's using her grappling line to take the enemy with fire one-handed as she swings through the air, briefly throwing them back. I meant rake the enemy. Rake, not take. As the enemy fire falters, we begin another sprint towards Centaurace's location. Zahui makes a hard landing beside us, and the data gate follows closely behind her. Macchiato picks up a smoke grenade from one of the black armored corpses and tosses it to Centaurace. The two of them prime their smoke grenades and throw them out. The two smoke grenades hit the ground, and clouds of white smoke obscure us. Everyone gets behind cover, perhaps it's because they can't see us anymore, but the enemy gunfire suddenly stops. And away we go! I look at the dolls. Diane's shoulder and head are damaged, while Jiangyu has two big holes in her thigh. Centaurace and Macchiato help them onto the platform elevator. Ow! Kof holds a panting Helena as they make their way forward, while Zahui struggles with dragging the heavy box on her back. I run onto the elevator too. It groans and rumbles before slowly grinding into movement. The dolls keep their weapons pointed the way we came, but no enemies follow us. The thunderous gunfire that surrounded us just now has suddenly vanished. The surroundings are quiet except for the noise of the elevator. For some reason, I don't feel the joy of narrowly escaping death. On the contrary, a sense of foreboding fills my mind. Wow, that's such a nice present! It's totally not going to explode during this mission. No fear, no pain. Plan A. Confirm. Okay, next is Fleeing Pursuit. That black helicopter looks just like how I remember it. The red-haired woman is caught off guard by the green-clad doll suddenly jumping across her path and forgets to duck. Kenny tackles Lin tied to the ground, and the bullets that would have hit her square in the chest instead slam into the man's back plates. The other troopers immediately stop shooting and drag the two of them to safety. Wow, it's so nice of Kenny! The woman gets to her feet and immediately checks on the squad leader's wounds.
ケニー無事か。
どうだか。
Hello, hello. I feel decent right now. I was debating eating before stream, but then the food was all burnt, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna eat that. Instead, afterwards, I'm just gonna eat some cheese and crackers. That's good enough for dinner. Cheese, crackers, and nuts. She quickly inspects the place where he was struck and finds a bullet stuck between two of his ballistic plates.
起きろ。死にはしない。
Get up already. It's not going to get you pregnant. Okay. Well, you'd hope you don't get pregnant from a bullet. The woman kicks the squad leader. After realizing he wasn't injured after all, Kenny scrambles to his feet. Lentine pays him no further heed. Instead, she peers out from behind their cover. The smoke cloud is fully spread out. She can't see anything.
目標ロスト刺激しました。
被害報告。
戦士12名、負傷25名、大損害です。
Oh, wow. 12 and 25. 37.
くそったれが。
God damn motherfuckers.
奴らを止めろ。全員ぶっ殺せ。
落ち着いてください。この距離じゃこっちが不利です。
Lentine trembles with rage. She pulls out a cigarette and takes a deep drag from it to calm herself down. After a brief period of contemplation, her reason wins out over her emotions.
ブラボーは負傷者を救護。動ける奴は再編成した後、私と地上に上がれ。ここを出たら爆薬を全部起爆しろ。
Ooh, favorite doll. Oh, it's so tough.
ケニー、エコーの生き残りを装甲車に乗せて人形たちの
I think the ones I'm currently... I gave 3 of them oath rings so far. Macchiato's great. Like, I love my macchiato. The attack and losses sustained have far exceeded anything she's expected. Meanwhile, it's very hard for her not to imagine what has happened here after looking at the corpse of the Bujum in the deep pit and that of the woman in black outside it. That'd be a tough choice if you had to pick from the GFL 1 roster. I mean, I'm excited for Sop Mod. Lentine mutters to herself, a mix of emotions in her heart. Then she casts aside her cigarette butt and vanishes into the darkness of the tunnels with the rest of her men. Rhino? The few remaining black armored troopers file into the IFVs. The rear hatches close up and their engines roar loudly. Okay, Micty's adorable. And for you, one's your beloved now and always. Aww. The 2 IFVs stop at the entrance of the tunnel. It is wide enough that they can drive into it side by side. The remaining 3 IFVs are parked outside the entrance, flanking it with their autocannons pointing to the opening. All their targeting optics are riddled with bullet holes, forcing the crew to pop their hatches and physically view their surroundings. The vehicle's headlights turn on. One of the vehicle commanders signals in advance and the 2 lead IFVs drive into the tunnel. She may be a Lovecraftian concept now, but still. Well, Lovecraftians are fun. The black armored men emerge from the vehicle, guns held at the ready as they eye the air around them.
こちらレンティーズ。敵はプラットフォームに乗って上に向か
聞いた通りだ。コピー、加速する。
The IFV picks up speed, crushing crates and corpses underfoot. The black armored troopers notice that the crushed corpses have Magi security written on their gear, but their rapid movement soon carries them out of sight. Stopping at the end of the tunnel, the IFV's headlights cast a clear glow ahead, while the elevator platform noisily makes its way up the shaft. The spinning yellow lights and alarm klaxons are constant reminders to the IFV's crew and compliment that the elevator is about to arrive. The elevator platform is stacked high with various crates. The IFVs turn their turrets to cover it as it comes into everyone's view. Oh, Klukai's great. Ooh, Star 15? That is such a fun sounding name, Star. While they can't see the enemy's positions, the IFV gunners pull the triggers on their hand stations without hesitation. The IFV's autocannons and coaxial machine guns open up in unison, the tremendous power of their large caliber rounds shredding the boxes and crates on the platform to pieces. The autocannon rounds even pierce the platform itself and turn its center into Swiss cheese. Yum. The plumes of smoke from the gunfire cover the entire platform, and it's only after 10 odd seconds of this withering barrage that the IFVs finally seize their attack.
見えない。だがあの攻撃を受けては。
A sharp blade slashes through the neck of the speaking trooper. He stares incredulously at the maid-attired doll who has appeared behind him. Blood spurts from his severed carotid and jugular. His severed carotid and jugular. He tries with all his might to stop the bleeding but fails, and he collapses limply through the turret hatch and into the vehicle's interior. Well, rip to that guy. And that guy. Ooh, Boy Mestina. That's another fun sounding name. Though holy cow, that dedication for 6 years. Another doll descends from the ceiling, landing heavily on the turret. The crewman nearest to her tries to pull out a pistol and shoot, but she kicks his head so hard it spans a full 359 degrees around his neck. Oh! Yeah, we'll see a wreck for them. Don't shoot! We'll capture one of the IFVs and wipe out the rest of the enemies. Roger that. Commencing operation. No fear, no pain. Okay, all is well.
これで終わり。
センタウレイシーのおかげで機関砲の餌食にならずに済んだわ。
私たちのこと舐めすぎだよ、相手。
Just before the IFVs arrived, the dolls had already carried me and jumped up to the elevator landing, where we hid in a side tunnel. Meanwhile, Jiangyu and Sentaraci lay in ambush on the ceiling, waiting for the enemy to deliver themselves into our net.
ここに来るとき、マキアートと共に装甲車と交戦したので、きっと今回も投入するものだと思いました。高額ケーキをあらかじめ。
Ooh, let me check what Star looks like then. Okay. Alrighty. Load, please. Oh, she's cute! I love that hairstyle. And the little purple streak.
そうね。だから敵は砲塔に登ってマニュアル操作せざるを得なくなった。
Seeing how proud Macchiato looks, I nod in her direction to show my approval. Still, staying here is too dangerous. I gesture for the dolls to gather up so we can begin planning our next move.
さてこれはありがたく頂戴しましょう。
運転はお任せください。タンデライオン、運転プログラムを私にインストールしていただけますか？
やってるわ。
Since Arisi climbs into the driver's seat, while the other dolls chuck the corpses out of the vehicle before filling up the passenger compartment. Since Arisi finishes downloading the IFB driving software, just as everyone finishes taking their places. Just as she begins to reverse, however, a massive explosion comes from deep within the underground complex.
まずい。ここを爆破する気だ。早く出して。
Since Arisi floors the accelerator on the IFB and it lurches forward, the tunnel behind the IFB begins to disintegrate in its wake, and chunks of debris fall from the ceiling like stone rain.
バッファロー4、どうした？エコ、応答しろ。
全滅か。
くそ、超細かと。残ったバッファローは出口を封鎖。
The tunnel is collapsing faster and faster, but since Arisi is already driving as fast as the IFB can go, from her perch inside the turret, Macchiato spots more IFBs waiting to ambush us, but there's no way we can slow down now.
シャックリ、出口に来て援護して。プラン A、好きにやって。
やっとシャンクリンの出番が来たんだね。
We slam into the wall of lead from the IFBs outside the tunnel, forcing Macchiato to duck back inside the turret. In front, bullets, cannon shells, and all manner of ordnance throw up an endless rain of sparks as they ricochet off the IFB's armor. Behind us, the collapsing tunnel surges forward to consume us all. Suddenly, a tremor of whirling blades shakes the air from behind the IFBs that are outside the tunnel. A helicopter armed with rocket pods has just arrived in attack position.
武装ヘリコプター。
Well, there's a helicopter she heard. The black-clad soldiers are running through the wilderness at top speed. The exit behind them belches flame from the demolition charges as they sprint towards the other one. The IFB's turrets begin swiveling, but it's too late for them. Oh, the chaos! The helicopter hovers in midair, and then the volley from its rocket pods turns the IFBs into burning wreckage. The IFB from inside the tunnel roars out into the open air and bashes the flaming wrecks aside, trailed by explosions, which completely destroy the tunnel in its wake. As the flames chase it, the IFB carries on toward a small hill in the distance while spewing black smoke. The helicopter gracefully banks to the side and flies past us, landing on a hill where we're headed. Once we get there, since Arisi puts on the brakes and I emerge from the IFB, while I can barely open my eyes because of the downwash and grit, what I do manage to see still shocks me to the core. Nothing could be more familiar to me than the black helicopter before me, except perhaps for the worn but still legible insignia on its side, the shield of GNK. There's no time to admire it though. The dolls pop the IFV's hatches and begin climbing toward it. I help the dolls push Helena and the box into the cabin. In the distance, the black armored troopers have also gotten to the high ground of their own. The woman who leads them anxiously gazes at the helicopter in the distance.
間に合わない。ケニー、ロケランはあるか？
はい。
ヘリを撃て。双眼鏡をくれ。
The woman takes the binoculars that one of her men hands her and looks through them at the helicopter.
距離620。外すなよ。
Through the binoculars, she sees the dolls pulling a human into the cabin. The human takes a seat on the lip of the passenger compartment. Lentine ups the magnification on her binoculars, but when she sees the woman's face, she suddenly freezes.
あいつ。確かフランク
Oh, she recognizes. She immediately changes her mind and gives another order. Huh? However, the squad leader has already pulled the trigger. Well, Kenny. A rocket streaks out towards the helicopter. The helicopter immediately pulls up, trying to bank out of the path of the rocket. However, the intersection of its course and that of the missile has sealed the fate of the group on the helicopter. 2 shots ring out, piercing the rocket and throwing it off course, where it explodes in midair. The shockwave from the rocket's explosion shakes the helicopter, but the pilot soon levels it out. It continues picking up speed, trying to get out of this godforsaken hellhole.
近くにまだ敵がいるぞ。ヘリはまだ射程内に。撃ちますか。
Kenny, she said to stop. As Kenny barks orders to his men, he raises another rocket launcher, awaiting Lentine's response. Upon hearing the order, the black armored troopers obediently remain still and make no further movements. In the distance, the helicopter picks up speed and fades from sight. Meanwhile, the hidden shooters do not reveal themselves. She shoves the binoculars back into Kenny's hands, then takes out a cigarette and lights it. The surviving men in black remain silent, as though waiting for Lentine's next order. A moment later, she throws the cigarette aside without so much as taking a drag on it, and turns to address Kenny. Kenny nods. Oh, she's gonna pay an arm and a leg. With that, Lentine heads into the distance, ignoring Kenny's questions. The sounds of the world begin to fade away as she loses herself in thought. There's only one thought left on her mind. Why? 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 Driven by the thought, she sets out on a mission of her own. Why? Confirm. Safe house. Here you can freely share your secrets. Ooh, secrets. The helicopter rises through the clouds and reaches its cruising height. I know a little bit for the first game, never played it though. I get back inside the cabin and close the door, whereupon the active noise cancelling system installed in all Griffin helicopters engages and excludes all outside noise. The silent surroundings makes me realize that I've left the combat zone, and it's only then that I realize that my hands are trembling, a feeling that is slowly rising up my arms. I clench my fists, doing my best to stabilize my heart rate, and then I begin considering the current situation. Based on what I saw just now, the involvement of Pardeus, those PMC troops, and that other Helena are all very unnatural. What on earth is Dandelion trying to pull? Where is she trying to steer all this? I look at the flying Dandegate and think about how to get a straight answer out of her. That missile headed at us clearly did not explode for no reason. From its trajectory and the position where it exploded, someone must have shot it down. In other words, someone secretly saved us, but who could have done that? I ponder the question, but can't come up with anything. Since I have no evidence or proof to support it, all I can do is set it aside for now. So where shall we go next? I'll ask Santaresi and Macchiato later. I'm sure they have plans of their own. Should I continue with this transport mission? I look at the box and the other Helena, who looks just like the one I know but acts completely different. Once we get up to a safe place, I'm going to have a good long chat with her about what happened before we got to her. After this brief period of contemplation, I look around the inside of the cabin. This is a standard issue Griffin transport helicopter. Judging by its stability in flight and the normal operation of its noise cancellation, this chopper has most likely been maintained at active duty spec from 10 years ago. While the fittings are a little old, they're all pretty much standard issue from back then. Even the first aid kit is in the same place. Macchiato heads over to the co-pilot seat and talks to a doll I've never seen before about our flight path. Centaurasi takes the first aid kit from under the seats and begins treating the wounds of the dolls who are damaged in the bow just now. The dolls begin exchanging their names and rejoice over surviving the bow just now. I look at Kolf. She's trying to strike up a conversation with the other Helena, but the latter does not respond in any way, only looking down at the box. She looks uneasy, but I can tell that she's trying to rein in her emotions. She's been secretly observing everyone since we got on the helicopter and thinking about something. The box has been secured to the cabin floor. Zalhui looks worriedly at it, then looks up at the hovering Danegate.
この箱また変形したりしない？
Who knows?
箱の権限は全て掌握したわ。奪い返されない保証はないけど。
Truly, who knows? Upon hearing this, the girl suddenly looks up and addresses the Danegate in an earnest voice.
彼女はもういない。
Huh?
汚れたものは感じ取れない。
Lurking unclean?
言っちゃったのね。
The Danegate flies in front of the girl's face. Its mono-eye focusing on her, but the face reflected in its glassy depths does not change.
危険は去ったよね。めでたしめでたし。
Lucky us.
箱まだ開けないで。
なぜあなたとウリフたちの彼女にとって代わられるから。
死なせたくなければ開けないで。
After saying that, the girl lowers her head once again and remains silent, no longer listening to Dandelion's teasing. With a sigh, I look away from their conversation to the dolls. Centaurasi has just finished binding Dion's wounds, so I approach them and ask about their condition.
ダイエ、コール、平気？
ご心配には及びません。かすり傷です。
Oh yeah, it's just a flesh wound.
そうそう、ちょっと修理すれば済むから。
Yeah, only a band or two will fix them up, especially the holes in her thighs. Dion's injuries aren't particularly bad, but Jiangyu has suffered a penetration injury through and through to her leg. So Centaurasi kneels before her and begins administering first aid. She carefully extracts the bullet and its fragments, then fills the wound channel with packing epoxy, and applies a synth skin patch over the entry and exit wounds. Jiangyu limbers up her leg, then nods happily to Centaurasi in gratitude. Seeing as Centaurasi has finished first aid for them, I decide to ask her the question that's been on my mind.
このヘリは？
鈍いのね。どう考えても部下が用意したサプライズに決まってるじゃない。
The Danegate shifts its position to directly over my head. I try to look up, but I can't see her.
そうなの？
Centaurasi puts the tools back into the first aid kit, then looks up at me with a smile.
ええ、イエローエリアで活動していると伺ったので、ズッケラの皆さん
That is so nice of them.
しました。本来は衛星都市に着いてからお渡しするつもりだったのですが、状況が状況でしたので、このような形になりました。気に入っていただけましたか？
It's an amazing present. The sudden surge of emotions leaves me unsure of what to say next. As nostalgia assaults my brain and I look around, I feel like I've gone back 10 years in time. But after seeing the box on the ground and Helena beside me, I realize I'm no longer in the past.
ありがとう。
スプリングフィールドに感謝しなさい。このヘリ、回収するの大変だったんだから。
Thank you, Springfield. After Macchiato finishes talking with the pilot, she heads in front of the pilot's cabin and takes a seat opposite of me.
まあ、
マキアート、
ゃんと覚えたよね。
ええ、マキアート。スプリングフィールドも一緒？
店長は CHE02 で待っています。
CHE02 輸送ルート上にあるわね。
I look up at the the Danda gate. It pretends that it didn't notice me looking.
今のうちに店長に連絡してみますか。
そうね、頼んだわ。
I still want that special coffee. Since Arisi adjusts the transmission frequency and patches a signal into my earpiece, soon I hear a familiar voice through it.
お久しぶりです、指揮官。
本当にね。今回は迷惑をかけたわ。
水臭いですよ。そちらは順調ですか？
まあ、そんなところかな。
All fear, all pain.
相変わらずですね。このチャンネルを使っているということはサプライズ受け取っていただけたのですね。
ええ、どうやったかは知らないけど、大したプレゼントよ。おかげで助かった。
それは良かったです。
It's an amazing present.
私のカフェでお待ちしております。
カフェか。ところで、ちょっと訳ありな連れがいるんだけど、大丈夫？
ダンデライオンさんから経緯を伺っています。二人のヘレナさんでしたらカフェに来る前に処置を施さなければいけませんね。
Okay, preparation time.
そう、わかった。
エルモ号の方には私から事情を説明しましたのでご安心ください。こちらの準備も万端です。
Wow, thank you, Springfield.
到着までゆっくりお休みください。
Well, that's Springfield for you. She's already taken into account all the things that were worrying me. I nod, then end the call after thanking her. As I take in the view outside the window, a wave of fatigue suddenly washes over me. Apparently, the sense of security I felt from knowing that I was surrounded by my dolls led me to relax unconsciously. I lean against my seat and close my eyes, allowing my consciousness to drift into the depths of my mind.
指揮官、指揮官。
Oh no, a nightmare! An indistinct voice speaks into my ear. It sounds like Helena. I force my heavy-lidded eyes to open and focus my sight on the pink-haired girl before me. There seems to be a film of condensation over my field of vision.
ヘレナ？
着いた。
I move my slightly stiff joints. I hadn't been expecting to be sleeping so soundly. Then I look around. Helena's the only one here. Everyone else is gone.
他の人は？
指揮官。
She bursts into tears.
よしよし。どうしたの？
I fumble a little as I try to wipe her tears, but she ends up grabbing my wrist instead. I never imagined a child could be so strong. I can't break free of her grip.
助けて。ヘレナたち、嘘、疲れた。
大丈夫。私についていれば安全よ。だけど、何も知らないと、ヘレナを助けてあげることはできない。ね。
Must protect. Helena's still sobbing, but she nods. Suddenly, her pupils dilate, and the strength fades from her hand. I use this opportunity to regain control over my wrist. Right after that, white mist floods in from outside the helicopter. Helena begins muttering to herself, as though she's been summoned by something.
ヘレナ。もしかして、裏切り者。
Uh-oh. Before she can finish, she turns and rushes into the mist. I reflexively follow her. As the mist clears, I grind to a halt as I see a seemingly endless expanse of epiphyllums before me. Countless Helenas are walking forward through the flowers. The epiphyllums bloom, and the petals fall like rain. This beautiful scene is indescribably eerie. My voice shatters the silence of the Helenas. As one, they instantly turn to look at me with vacant eyes. Only one of them has the same sad look on her face.
指揮官は来るべきじゃない。
何を言ってるの？
Helena shakes her head.
運命はここまで。
運命？そんなのまやかしよ。
Yeah, to hell with destiny. A thought flashes through my head. For some reason, I feel like if I let go of Helena, I'll lose her forever.
指揮官は優しい人。
さっきから何のことなの？
I pick up the pace until I reach Helena. I need to get her out of this creepy place. I'll physically drag her away if I have to. However, no matter how much strength I use, Helena refuses to budge.
優しい人は死ぬ。でも指揮官は生きて。
Helena picks an epiphyllum beside her. The soft, lovely flower instantly transforms into a sharp blade that gleams coldly, and she stabs it into my heart without hesitation. Welp! I can't dodge the blow, but my chest doesn't hurt. It just feels cold. Helena weeps, and my consciousness grows hazy. I bolt upright like I've been electrocuted. After gasping heavily for several seconds, I realize the Dandigate is perched on my chest. That must have been where the coldness came from. Yes? Upon seeing that I'm getting up, the Dandigate hops off my chest and takes to the air. I turn to look at the girl in the corner, then at the box, and quietly sigh.
ずっと緊張していたからでしょうね。もう大丈夫。
Dandelion flies in a circle around my head before descending before my face again.
ならいいわ。そろそろ着く頃よ。
I look outside the window again. The helicopter is approaching the city. The doll who Macchiato called Charcuterie is speaking into the communicator. It seems she's talking to the local air traffic controllers. Looking down, I notice that despite us heading straight for the city, the air defense emplacements on the walls are not tracking us, as though we're old friends. That takes me by surprise. It implies that this helicopter has been legally registered and has permission to use the city's airspace. The cost of obtaining such permission might actually be greater than the price of the helicopter itself. Oh, they spent so much for this gift! The helicopter slowly descends as we near the city, until we end up touching down on a small helipad near the city walls. After stepping out of the helicopter, the massive quarantine walls fill my line of sight. As I look around, I notice that all the nearby security cameras are facing elsewhere, as several men in police uniforms approach us. Macchiato moves up to meet them and stuffs several black cards into their hands. The men nod before heading toward the helicopter. They walk past us, though we were invisible, and enter the helicopter. Soon, the helicopter lifts off and flies elsewhere.
指揮官ついてきて。ダイエン、コウ、チョウキ。シャークリーがズッケロまでお連れします。絶対に安全な場所なので、ゆっくりお休みください。指揮官。
先に休んでて。私は後で行く。
Rest is good. Diane nods and the trio of dolls head into a passage with Charcuterie. Meanwhile, Macchiato enters a passcode into a nearby door before beckoning me over. I enter it with her, followed by Kulf, who is holding Helena's hand. Centaurecy is at the rear of the group, carrying the boxes on her back. After passing through a rundown maintenance passage and taking a cargo elevator into an underground area, we arrive at a small storage unit. There's a 6-seater light truck inside it. We mount up in silence and drive it out of the storage unit. As we emerge from the underground area, the sunlight hits my face. It is sunset now, and the truck slowly climbs in a long spiral from the sublevels of the satellite city toward the higher elevation. As we go deeper into the city, more and more lights come on. It seems they're celebrating some sort of festival. Helena's eyes are drawn to the lights of the city. She seems to be trying to greedily devour them all in her gaze. All this must be fresh and new to her. I can practically sense the excitement and eagerness boiling in her heart. However, when she looks back inside the truck and sees the box on the floorboards, her eyes go dull again. She notices that I'm looking and turns to look me in the eye. On my part, I do not shy away from meeting her gaze. Then her mouth opens as though she wants to say something, but then she hesitates. Instead, she turns away, looking neither at the city nor the box, but at her feet, and she seems to be waxing thoughtful. An hour and 2 more changes of vehicles later. Such a long ride. Macchiato drives into a skyscraper, whereupon we dismount and get into an elevator. As its doors open, we are greeted by a bright yet completely sealed room. Springfield is in there, clearly. She's been waiting for us for quite a while.
ようこそ指揮官。移動は順調でしたか？
カーチェイスでもあるんじゃないかと警戒していたけど、杞憂だったわね。
この町でそういうことはめったに起きませんよ。
でしょうね。全く頼もしい店長さんね。ここは例の10キロではなさそうね。
I look around. We appear to be in a very high-end safe house, packed with all kinds of comms equipment and weaponry. Even the walls have been reinforced with ballistic armor plating.
セーフハウスの一つです。
Wow.
高級マンションの一室を使って万全のセキュリティ体制を整えてます。
A high-end apartment. Fancy.
こちらの方の重要性を考えてここにお迎えするのが妥当かと。
さすが用心深いわね。
Well done, Springfield.
あなたのとこにして正解だったわ。
The Dandelion comes to a halt in front of Springfield and projects Dandelion's face.
ダンデライオンさん、素体はどうされました？
そこの誰かさんが素体もくれずにこき使うものだからダイナーゲートで我慢してるのよ。
What a nice description.
勝手なこと言わないで。
ダンデライオンさんも相変わらずですね。
今日一日飛び回って疲れたわ。充電してくれる？私も休むから後のことはお願いね。
Bye. The Dandelion flies above Springfield, and with a snap, it powers down and falls into her hands. Springfield finds a wall socket and plugs the Dandelion into it. Then she dusts her hands off before smiling at us.
一人一部屋ございますのでゆっくりしていってください。
Springfield walks up to the girl.
ヘレナさん、よろしければこちらへ来ていただけますか？
The girl doesn't answer and Kolf directs a pleading gaze at me.
大丈夫。信用していいわ。ゴルフェンも休んでて。後でリビングで合流しましょう。
It is only after hearing me speak that Kolf lets go of Helena's hand. Santarisi leads Kolf to one of the rooms and escorts her inside. Springfield smiles and holds a hand out to Helena. The latter doesn't take it, but she eventually nods after hesitating for a moment. Springfield then turns to say a few things to Santarisi before the two of them lead Helena to another room. Before they leave, Springfield turns to speak to me.
指揮官もゆっくりしてください。終わったらお知らせします。
わかった。
After Springfield and company leave, the only people left are me and Macchiato.
部屋に連れてくわ。
Oh, my room!
お願いね。
Macchiato leads me forward, then stops in front of a door. I open it and see a guest room within. It's not too big, but it is luxuriously appointed, and there's a shower and a bathroom inside. Oh, that is the perfect room.
さすが高級マンション。いい部屋ね。
こんなのより私の買った家の方が。
Is this your way of inviting me over, Macchiato?
え？ したの？
なんでもない。臭いから早く風呂に入って。
Fine, I'm stinky, I get it.
ええ、すぐ入るわ。
I enter the room and Macchiato closes the door with a click. I sigh heavily, then take off my jacket before lying down on the bed. While I still feel very tired, sleep is long in coming. And now the bed smells stinky. After tossing and turning a few times, I decide to clean myself up and enter the bathroom for a shower. Never mind. No longer stinky. The clean room and comfortably warm water make me realize that I haven't been treated this well in a long, long time. As I spray myself with hot water from the shower head, I think back on the things that happened before this. One thing's for sure, I don't regret anything that happened. Forever tsundere. I feel much more refreshed after exiting the shower and drying myself off. Then, it's on with my clothes and back on the bed again to await Springfield's summons. Just as I'm about to fall asleep again after many minutes, I finally hear Springfield's voice from my terminal.
指揮官、よろしいですか？こちらは終わりました。
I throw on my jacket and head outside. As I do, I see Springfield and the others waiting for me in the main hall. I notice that Helena's sitting on the sofa. The grime and bloodstains from earlier have been cleaned off, and she's wearing a fresh set of clothing. Hope is sitting by her side while Springfield is seated opposite of them. Macchiato and Santaresi are watching us from a distance. Oh, cute! I glance over at Springfield, and she moves aside with a smile. I walk up to Helena and take a seat on the sofa opposite of her.
前よりもっと可愛くなった。
Helena blushes a little, and then she answers in a very quiet voice.
このお姉ちゃんたちがやってくれた。センターレイシーさんのおかげです。服はシャークリーさんのものですが、似合ってますね。
She looks adorable.
こうして見ると普通の女の子ね。
普通の女の子。
I rest my elbows on my knees, then lean forward to study Helena for a moment before I begin speaking.
私たちに疑問を感じていることは分かっている。けれどそれはこっちも同じ。さっきまでの出来事でショックを受けたと思うけど、もう大丈夫。
Time to play truth or truth.
ゆっくり話しましょう。
ショックなんてない。
そう。
前に起きたことと比べれば。
The girl frowns and she looks up at me. I look back at her without flinching, and she decides to take the initiative.
あなたたちは一体何者？
そうね。私はしがない賞金ハンターで、人形たちは昔からの部下。みんな優しいから安心してほしい。
Helena looks at the dolls around her and nods.
優しくても悪い人かもしれない。どうして助けたの？なんでここに連れてきたの？
ヘレナを安全な場所へ送って治療を受けさせるのが私が受けた依頼。
ヘレナを？
I turn to look at the box on the ground. The girl's eyes follow mine.
ヘレナを受け取ってからいろんな敵に付け狙われてきた。バリャーグ、パラデウス、今やマグニセキュリティもね。あなたもヘレナである以上見殺しにできない。
そんな。
Yes, reason.
それがパラデウスたちと戦った理由？
パラデウスは最初から敵。この依頼がなくとも許せない存在よ。あの傭兵たちに関しては支援はないけど、やられたらやり返すし。
Yeah, that part was self-defense.
まだ信用してもらえてないよね。
I look up and give Springfield a look. She steps forward and addresses the girl.
安心してください。ここは安全です。
It's safe enough.
パラデウスもマグニセキュリティも絶対に来られません。指揮官は10年前からパラデウスと戦っていました。言いたいことがあれば遠慮なく。ヘレナさんと呼んでもいいですか？それとも別の名前の方が？何せ同じ顔のヘレナさんが2人もいるんです。このままだとちょっとややこしいかもしれませんね。
New name?
いい。
Or not?
もうお世話にならないから。
No, I want to keep you, Helena D68.
ここを出るつもりですか？でもどこへ？助けてくれてありがとう。でもこれは私のことだから。
Come on. I take a deep breath. It seems this girl isn't as pure and innocent as our Helena, but behind her facade of grizzled independence are hints of a naive streak. I scratch my head, at a bit of a loss for how to go on from here. Even fighting 10 monkey security combat teams at once would be less of a headache than this. I'm just not used to handling kids. After thinking for a moment, I decide not to beat around the bush. It's probably time to get straight to the point.
ごめん。嫌なことを思い出させてよね。
Sorry, kid.
地下で見たもの。私たちの過去とは無関係じゃない。あれらは一体何だったのか。私には究明する義務がある。あんなことは二度と起こさせはしない。だから知ってることを教えてくれない？
Please help us out, Missy.
あの地下で何が起きたのか。村一つの人間が実験体にされた理由、ブージャムとニターがいた理由。
Like, who'd have thought that handling kids would be the most difficult task?
ヘレナ、あなたはどういう存在なのか。
The girl listens silently as I rattle off a string of questions. She listens earnestly, but shows no indication to answer them. After a long silence, she speaks speaks at last.
帰りしないで。
どういうこと？
帰りしたらあそこにいた人たちと同じ目に遭う。私のせいで。
あなたのせいで？私たちの心配をしてくれてるの？
Aw, she's just worried about her safety. She falls silent again. There's an anguished look in her face, one that I've never seen on Helena's face before today. Since they look identical, I can't help but compare her to the Helena who's been with us all this time.
見た目は同じでも、やっぱり別人ね。
She meets my gaze, then practically shouts what she's thinking.
どんな大きな敵が待ってるのか。関われば絶対に逃げられない。
パラデウスが関係してると知った以上、逃げるつもりはないわ。
このわからずや。私はあなたたちの知ってるヘレナじゃないんだよ。
I mean, even if you're not our Helena, you're her sister, basically.
どうして私まで連れてくるの？あの子だけでいいのに。
さっき言った通りよ。あなたもヘレナである。
Also, I'm greedy, both Helena.
見殺しにできない。ヘレナじゃなくても子供を置いていくわけにはいかない。
善人ぶらないでよ。私のこと何も知らないくせに。私のせいで大勢が死んだ。
Girl, we're not any stranger to danger.
どうしてわからないの？
理解してる。だけど私たちは死なない。あの村の人たちも保安局のエージェントもあなたのせいじゃない。あれはパラデウスと背後にいる黒幕がやったこと。あ あなたがその罪を背負う言われはない。
その通りです。
Kof, who's been silent all this time, suddenly stands up.
コルフェ？
姉さんもパラデウスのせいで死んだ地下にいた人たちのように、あいつらが人を殺すのに理由も動機もありません。なのにあなたが罪の意識を持つのはあまりにも理不尽すぎませんか？何があったか、誰を憎めばいいかわかりません。でも私は何とかしたいんです。だからずっとヘレナちゃんのそばにいました。どっちなんて関係ないです。姉さんは生き返らないけど
Kof's files were sad.
同じ目に遭う人を少し減らせるかもしれない。すみません、あなたに言うことじゃないですね。
The air in the room goes silent. After saying her piece, Kof sits back down and says no more.
ありがとう、コルフェ。
I look at Helena, and I address her in as kind and as firm a tone I can manage.
逃げても何も解決しない。あなたも理解してるはずよ。
でも
一人で抱え込まないで。私たちがブージャムとあの傭兵どもを倒したところ、あなたは見ていたでしょ？
Yeah, you saw what we did, Helena.
あなたたちにまつわる事柄は徹底的に調べる。それは私にヘレナが託されたことからもわかるでしょ？
Helena D68 bites her lip. There seems to be a great struggle going on in her heart.
あなたたちも保安局？
違う。だけど私たちの方がやれることは多い。
Helena D68 thinks for a moment, and then she speaks at last.
そこまで言われたら教えるしかないか。私の記憶はあの村にいた頃のものしかない。ニターとユナイタスは私を主と呼んで、私は村民たちに崇められた。
Lord.
私のことをカビタへと導く存在だと言ってた。
それは何なの？
わからない。みんなずっと探しているとしか。カビタを見つけるためにあいつらは私にいろんな実験をした。
Poor Helena.
実験。またか。あいつら他にやることはないの？
指揮官。
ごめん。その後は？
全部が嘘だった。
It was all fake.
あいつらの言う恵みを受けた村民はみんな怪物になった。
Ah. Kof looks at me.
だからクリフィウムは全てがつながりました。あれが奴らの言う儀式。怪物はあなたたちの言うブージャムになって、私には彼らの悲鳴が聞こえた。儀式によって彼らは私の命令を聞くようになったけど、私も黒い女の指示に従っていただけ。嫌になった私はただ奇跡を信じて祈るしかなかった。
Poor Helena.
そしたら本当に奇跡が起こった。ある日保安局の人たちが現れて、あなたたちと同じことを言って私を地下から連れ出した。嬉しかった。脱出するまで村で待っていてと言われてそうしたけど、結局
In the end, they never came. Ah.
まさかあの瓶の中に詰め込まれていたなんて。そ
そうやって私は行くあても、そばにいてくれる人たちも失った。だからまた祈るしかなかった。そしたら光をまとった私が祈りに応えたかのように現れたんだ。
ヘレナはあなたの祈りに引きつけられたということ？
Interesting. The girl hesitates for a moment, and then she nods reluctantly.
多分そう。
The fact that these Helenas can speak to each other's hearts is something that's come up before. It seems the similarities between them and Paradeus, says old Naito. Research warrants further investigation.
それからもう一つ。ヘレナに憑依して私たちに語りかけたのは何者なの？どうして彼女のことを裏切り者と言ったの？
私たちの意識は花畑にたくさんいた。でも私たちはあの声に殺された。花畑の記憶は彼女が最初のヘレナだということを教えてくれた。
Oh wow, the OG Helena.
彼女は私たちを排除して唯一無二の存在になりたかった。そんな彼女の裏切りで私たちは花畑から追い出されたんだ。彼女がいなければ、私がもっと強ければ。
Helena clenches her fist, and as she scrunches up her face, tears begin welling up in the corners of her eyes.
わかった。ありがとう。今日はもう休んで。
Go take a nap. My questions have been answered. What she said indicates that what happened before is essentially the same as what I theorized. Pardeus took over a village, tricked its inhabitants into following their damn cult, used them as test subjects to fuse them with plants, which they later combined into a bujum, then tried to use the Helenas, who could hear psychic messages, to control them. Meanwhile, Niter and those cultists were responsible for protecting and controlling the Helenas. Monkey Security was responsible for ensuring the perimeter was locked down. This was a comprehensive biological experimental setup. While I don't know what the aim of all those experiments is, it's perfectly in keeping with Paradeus' way of doing things. And that also makes me certain that those bastards haven't been completely stamped out yet.
後のことは任せて。もう絶対に誰も悲しませたりしない。コルフェ、そばにいてあげて。箱の中にいる私たちのヘレナの様子のチェックもね。
わかりました。
I hope our Helena's alright.
スプリングフィールド、みんなのことをお願い。
はい、お任せください。
Springfield nods to me, and then she turns to the sniffling girl.
ヘレナさん、あなたのことはどう呼んだらいいのでしょうか。ずっとヘレナとは呼ばれたくないでしょ。
わからない。名前なんてなかったから。
では指揮官が名前をつけては。
Wait, we gotta name her?
D68 は可愛くないですものね。
私が
Oh man, I'm so bad at naming. I'll just be like, your name is daughter. Hello, daughter. I scour my brain to try and come up with a nice sounding name for the girl before me.
メラニーなんてどう？
悪くないかも。
It doesn't sound like she likes it.
苦労ですか。感染した村民もきっとあなたのことを信じていたでしょう。
でも私は何もできなかった。
Oh, now she accepts it after Springfield says that.
けれど、
She looks up at me.
その名前でいい。
Oh, now she likes it. She accepts it.
これからはそう呼んでよ。
Cute. Melanie. This is an audio clip with the resource ID Wolf 000320822-3362.
エージェントたちが消息を絶った場所か。
全員戦死。でも指揮官の介入で犠牲は無駄にならなかった。
相変わらず世話焼きだな。でもあの人らしい。
気に入らない？
Friend foe?
効率の低いやり方をしているからな。功を奏す時もあるが、私たちの任務に支障をきたさなければ黙認するさ。
Friend enough.
それが人間の思考かもしれないね。
あいつに似てきたな。独りよがりでムカつく。
ずいぶん高評価なんだね。私たちも今のままではいけないと思う。もっと直接接
I'm gonna guess frenemies. Are we frenemies?
わかった。
Best frenemies?
今の隊長はお前だ。任務のためなら私は従うまでだ。
Evilly based on their fallen comrades who were avenged. State sec.
だけど私たちの目的を忘れるなよ。アルバ。
Alva. Oh man, I'm just thinking of Nika now because Alpha particles. Oh my goodness, I'm not prepared for the upcoming banners. The limited banners always hurt me in games. All fear, all pain. Who from our past could they be? And don't mind me missing how much there is. I'll do one more. So, baptism of memory. You're the most precious thing in those neural logs. Maybe we'll meet Alva and her friends soon. I'm sitting in the corner of the cafe, slowly sampling the coffee Centaurecy has just brought me. Oh, it's a special coffee she bought. After returning from the safe house, I had a loud and lively meal with the dolls, the first one in a long time. Centaurecy and Springfield served up a sumptuous feast, and then the dolls and I had a long discussion about the past. Springfield told me about how the Zucchero was founded, while Diane recalled the adventures of Monsoon as they traveled between the satellite cities. Centaurecy did her best to serve everyone, while Jiangyu and Zhaohui were about to put on an impromptu performance for us, only to remember that their instruments and luggage were still at the train station. Springfield helped them contact the local authorities, and when they learned that the missing items would be shipped over to them, they were so happy that they dragged out Charcute's stage to sing an off-key song. We cleared the tables once we were done eating, or rather, they did. I tried to help, but they shooed me away, leaving me no choice but to find a corner to sit down in. As the night wears on, the lights in the buildings outside gradually go out, and the clamor from outside the windows slowly quiets down. I'm glad their instruments weren't stolen after being left there. Hello, hello. I hold an exquisite mug in both of my hands, savoring the warmth and fragrance of the coffee inside it. The sensation was commonplace 10 years ago, but for me now, it is a rare and precious thing. After all, this is the first time I've been reunited with my dolls after so long. My heart fills with mixed feelings as I watch them hard at work. While it's been a long time since it happened, I can clearly remember the looks on everyone's faces when I announced that I was quitting Griffin, the confusion, the shock, the worry, and the protests. But at that time, I was utterly powerless. I couldn't even give them an acceptable explanation for what I'd done. What makes me feel even more guilty is the fact that even after all that has happened, after meeting everyone again, not a single one of the dolls has come over to ask this question. Why did you leave, Commander? It seems everyone still has the same unconditional trust in me, considering how easily they accepted the answer I gave. The one that couldn't even convince myself. In that case, what right do I have to stand in front of everyone like this now, acting as though nothing had happened? Springfield helps Centerace return the dishes into the cabinet, then glances toward me. Apparently, she notices the complicated look on my face because she undoes her apron and walks over to my table before sitting down opposite me.
指揮官、顔色が悪いですよ。
ちょっと考え事をしてて。
I want to help out. I feel useless.
メラニーさんのことですか？
ええ。それもあるけど、あと。
Springfield continues watching me, and I can't continue speaking for a while.
当ててみましょうか。
どうぞ。
私たちを避けていませんか？先ほどの食事中も会話は最低限でした。言いそびれたことでも？
いや。
I take a deep breath, trying to gather up the courage to get the words out.
ごめん。
This apology has been far too long in coming, and I should have said it in front of everyone. But when I finally managed to build up the courage to face my past, the others didn't give me a chance to say it.
え？どうして謝るのですか？
As I look at Springfield's smiling face, I realize that she understands everything. Yet the fact that she's asking this question despite knowing the answer is strangely calming. I try to gather my thoughts and say that what I've been keeping in my heart all this time.
何も言わずに消えたこと。それから、プロトコルのことも。
Sorry. I pause, and after thinking for a bit, I continue speaking.
あの時は、プロトコルを受け入れ、グリフィンを離れることが唯一の選択だと思った。もちろんベストじゃないけど、それでみんなの安全と未来が守られるなら、と思ってそうした。
Springfield keeps watching me, waiting for me to continue.
情けない話ね。イエローエリアに出た瞬間、何とも言えない解放感に包まれた。みんなのためと聞こえはいいけど、結局は現実から逃げたかっただけなの。昔のように勇気を振り絞って戦うことが私にはできなかった。大勢が死んだというのに、一人だけ生き残ってしまった。
Oh, the guilt.
私はその犠牲に見合う人間なの？それをずっと考えていた。だからこの10年、答えを求めてこの混沌とした世の中をさまよっていた。実際は探せば探すほど迷いが生まれる一方、戦いと権力を放棄すればもう誰かに利用されることもないだろうと思っていた。確かに利用されることはなくなった。も
Ouch.
う無価値な個人でしかないからね。
Because I was no longer of use at all.
しかし私の残した烙印はみんなを苦しめ続けている。なら私は何のために全てを投げ出したというの？メラニーの言ったことが忘れられない。ウィリアムを殺してもパラデウスは存続していて、今も残虐な実験を繰り返している。それに比べて私はどう？何かをする力もとうに失ってしまった。武装ヘリ1機や人形数十人なんかは高望みよ。メイリンには日々パーツのやりくりで苦労させている。
Thank you, Mei Ling.
私は一体何をしているの？自分で決めたことだというのに、こんな奴が指揮官と呼ばれていいの？これじゃホワイトエリアで甘い汁を吸うだけの役人様以下よ。今の私は危険に陥ったあなたたちを巻き込んで無意味な抵抗をするのが精一杯。まったく笑い話にもならない。
I pour out all the things that I've kept in my heart for all this time. Springfield continues listening until there's nothing more to listen to. I raise my mug and take a drink to mask my loss of control. Springfield waits for me to calm down before she slowly begins to speak.
あなたは逃げてなんかいませんし、私たちを巻き込んでもいません。あなたはただその決断をした自分を罰したいだけなんです。
I finally gather the courage to look up at Springfield. Her smile is gone, replaced by the stern and serious look that she rarely shows others. This conversation was released before the original ending of GFL 1. Oh, the writer working on GFL 1 at the time was angry about GFL 2 and purposely made sure that the commander and William didn't interact. And that William was clearly alive and well.
それともプロトコルが
Wow.
あなたのことを忘れられるとでもお思いで。
そういう意味じゃ。
そうでしょうか。真面目に答えてください。大事なことです。
もちろんそう思わない。
Upon seeing the look on my face, Springfield smiles again.
ですよね。安心しました。すみません、きついことを言って。ですが、この10年間迷っていたのはあなただけではないんです。迷っていてもみんな自分のできることをして。
It's part of the reason they went back and added epilogue chapters.
生きて再会する日を迎えるために。
Springfield twirls the tips of her hair around her finger, as though she's thinking about how to put her thoughts into words.
グリフィンを離れて消息を絶った人形も確かに少なくありません。けれど、なぜ自分に力はないと思うのですか？
それは
私たちも部下じゃないからですか？
Springfield's words cut deep, but at the same time, they also cut to the heart of the matter. What right do I have to expect them to risk themselves for my personal goals? Indeed, what right do I have to demand that they get hurt in order to protect me?
あなたが姿を消した翌日、グリフィンに何が起きたと思います？何も起きていません。みんな変わらない日常を送っていました。どの舞台もです。まるであなたがそこにいるかのように訓練し、データの処理を行っていました。そんな日々がしばらく続くと、ある日カリーナさんが基地を訪れ、私たちに自分たちのために生きるよう諭しました。
Okay, they seem fine.
それが指揮官の望みなんだと。あなたはずっと私たちがいるから今の自分があるんだとおっしゃっていましたが、逆もまたしかりです。私たちはとっくにお互いにとって替えの利かない存在になったんです。
Aw. In our hearts, you're the same.
その絆に地位も名誉も関係ありません。私たちが各々の名を持って生きるようになったのもあなたがいたからです。
いや、私がいなくともあなたたちは。
Springfield shakes her head.
人は二度死ぬという言葉を 聞いたことありますか？
Every man has two deaths?
少しは。
Not sure.
最初の死は肉体が滅んだ時、二度目は人々の記憶から消え去った時。
Ah, that's the second death.
人形は違います。死にはしませんが、かといって生きているわけでもありません。けれど私たちは他人の記憶に残ることで初めて生を受けるのです。あなたがいなければ私たちは家事モデル、戦闘モデル、娯楽モデルなどにカテゴライズされたどこにでもいる人形です。あなたはそんな私たちに命を吹き込みました。
Aw.
うまく言えませんが、指揮官なら私の言葉を理解していただけると思います。
ええ。おかげで大切なことを思い出した。でも私を助けると後戻りできない。あなたが心血を注いだズッケロもなくなるかもしれない。本当にいいの？
私はあのプロトコルは試金石なんだと思います。
A trial of sorts?
未来を変える、私たちの決意を試すための。私も私の仲間たちも覚悟はできています。
I think I'm ready.
何かを変える決心つきましたか？
I reflected on everything I've experienced until now. The shadow of Paradeus still looms over the world like storm clouds, and the big shots think that this land is just a sandbox they can toy with at their leisure, moving their pawns as they please. In that case, since I can't change anything through playing by the rules, why not just flip the table and make my own set of rules? While there's still many unknown variables at play, in the end, I decided to use that simple word to make my promise to Springfield. Meanwhile, the Danda gate that has been floating lazily in the air slowly drifts over.
やっぱり話が上手ね、スプリングフィールドは。私なんか何を言っても皮肉を言ってるようにしか聞こえないらしい。
Sorry, Dandelion. Clearly we have a preference.
あなたの場合は本気の嘲笑でしょ？
ひどいわね。第三者目線でどう思うかしら、スプリングフィールド。
ダンデライオンさんも彼女なりに指揮官を助けようとしているのですよ。彼女がいなければこれほど順調に指揮官をここに迎え入れることはできませんでした。
そうなの。セーフハウスの方は？
コルフェンが箱をチェックしたわ。お嬢ちゃんのバイタルは弱まってるけど、今のところは平気。でも箱がなければ。
Oh no, not organ failure.
早くリビウについて治療を受けさせ
Please, Kalina.
もう一人の方はぐっすり眠ってる。だいぶ疲れたようね。マキアートが監視してるわ。あの子がセーフハウスに残ってくれるなんてね。
Thank you, Macchiato.
マキアートさんはずっと指揮官に会いたがっていましたが、いざ対面すると目も合わせられないでしょう。
そうなの？ずいぶんひねくれてるのね。
頼んでおいた情報処理は？
もちろん済んだわ。関連企業のデータが大量にあった。点と点がつながったら教えるわ。
Thank you, Dandelion. After the dolls clear the table, Centeracy serves up a smorgasbord of snacks and drinks. Ooh, I'm excited. At everyone's urging, I'm dragged before the dining table once again. I feel much more relaxed after talking with Springfield, and my conversation with the other dolls flows much more naturally now. The Zucaro's warm welcome is most definitely a treat for the dolls' gustatory modules. It seems that no matter where it may be, Springfield's cafe is always able to help people forget their troubles and misery. After Zalhui clears the last plate of cookies, the curtain falls on this enjoyable little gathering.
蒸気、直 ョコレートミルクのおかわりはいかがですか？
Choki milk. Since Arisi has appeared behind the bar once again, upholding her reputation as Zucaro's star employee.
いや、いい。もう無理。消化モジュールがあっても一気にそんなに入らないよ。
救急箱に溶解剤があるので取ってきます。前にシャークリーがスイーツを食べ過ぎた時もこれで体型を維持できました。余計なこと言わないでよ。
The sweets are just that good.
そんなことがあったんだ。
だってセントウレイシーの作ったスイーツが美味しいんだもん。
I want.
今後もごひいきにお願いしますね。ズッケロの専属バンドになっていただけるなら開発中の新メニューも
Ooh,
無料で提供
taste testing.
いいの？やったよお姉ちゃん。これで食べ放題飲み放題だ。
ご迷惑でなければ喜んで。では決まりですね。
That's a fair deal. I sit on the edge of the counter, watching the dolls talk and laugh. A surge of nostalgia swells in my heart. I was a drifter ever since I left Griffin. The colorful, bright days in my memories have been practically all washed out and replaced by endless missions, mutated Elids, and the collapsed storms screaming through the vast expanses of barren sand. Meanwhile, the storms carried me further and further away from my path. Now that I intend to set foot on the road once more, can I still tell which way I should be headed? Ring ring. As my mind wanders, the phone on the counter rings. Springfield and Centeracy quickly exchange looks, and their faces turn severe.
こんな時間に電話が来るなんて。
Who's rooting our party?
お取りしますか？いえ、私が。
Springfield walks over to the counter and picks up the phone.
お電話ありがとうございます。
スプリングフィールドさんよ。注文したコーヒー豆何に使うつもりだ？
どういうおつもりですか？電話だと足が。
狙われてるぞ。
You're being watched.
あとどれくらい猶予がありますか？
Well, at least they waited for our party to settle.
一日手は尽くしたが相手の方が一枚上手だ。これまでの付き合いに免じて注文の中身はどこにも漏らさない。だからすぐに処分しよう。面倒ごとはごめんだ。
わかりました。
The other party hangs up. The cafe is silent, and the dolls all look at Springfield.
どうしたの？
何者かがズッケロの居場所を探っています。おそらくもう特定されています。すみません。
いや、私のせいよ。
私たちの力不足です。念のためすぐに移動を手配します。
時間は
1時間です。
1 hour. Saying so, Springfield turns to the other dolls.
皆さん、今からズッケロは休業になります。
Party's over.
休業？もし
Springfield nods, her face stern.
センタウレイシーさん、戸締まりをお願いします。シャークリーさんはバンを回してください。全員セーフハウスで集合します。
計画は？私たちはリビウに行かないといけないの。
情報屋にお願いして当局に手を回しました。安全を確保次第、センタウレイシーさんが通行証を持ってお送りいたします。ただ、コーヒー豆に偽装するためにトランクに入っていただくことになります。
Coffee beans.
いい経験になりそうね。
My reply is only half serious. Springfield chuckles and relaxes a little.
マキアートさんとメラニーさんはヘリポートで待たせています。ヘリコプターの操縦権限と燃料も手配済みです。
あなたたちは？
ほとぼりが冷めるまでしばらく休業です。身を隠しつつ情報収集に専念します。落ち着いたらまたご連絡します。連絡役として センタウレイシーさんを連れて行ってください。
センタウレイシーを
Ooh, we get to keep Sentaracy. Snacks, please.
はい。
Ah, she'll need to blend in with the coffee. I love that.
10キロの情報網も熟知しているので、お役に立てると思います。
Love that a latte. Springfield's approving gaze makes me realize that they've planned all this out ahead of time. I nod and signal my assent to Springfield's plan.
そよ風の皆さんはいかがでしょうか。指揮官さえ良ければ、ダンデライオンさん曰く戦力が必要ですよね。
Yes.
ドンパチするなら私の出番だよ。
それしか取り柄がないしね。
ひどい。
ええ、よろしくね。
Casting my dolls aside, I nod to the dolls. The dolls respond to me in kind, and then they begin gearing themselves up. After checking all the exits, Sentaracy returns to me, fully outfitted for battle. Her pistol and combat knife are hidden under her staffer's uniform, and her apron, a symbol of cleanliness, hides her spare magazines and grenades. There's a long rectangular case by her feet. I know there's at least one Sturm Gewehr 35 assault rifle in there. She gives me an earnest look, as though she wants to use her gaze to prove the reliability of Springfield's plan.
ご主人様、こちらへ。
段取りは
各出入り口の安全を確認しました。バンはズッケルの裏口に回してあります。
Can I have a cookie for the road? Beep beep.
何
Or maybe there's no time.
エルモ号からの緊急通信をつなげる？
A call from the Elmo? The girls and the others run into trouble while trying to meet up with 404. A sense of foreboding fills my heart, and I scramble to pick up.
グローザどうかした？
未確認勢力がエルモ号に急接近してるわ。
Oh no!
すでに攻撃を受けてる。おそらく乗り込んでくるでしょうね。作戦指揮をしてもらう必要があるわ。
未確認勢力規模は
装甲車10数台、歩兵は80人以上といったところかしら。
Oh gosh, 10 plus vehicles and 80 plus infantry.
装甲車またマグニセキュリティか。速度を上げて距離を保て。それから現在地の座標と環境情報を共有して。
重火器を確認したわ。防御モードに移行。
防御モードか。
環境情報についてだけど、電波干渉を受けてるから探知が難しいわ。
そう。でもあの辺なら土地勘はある。座標
Groza quickly sends them over. From memory, I recall the rough layout of the region and give Groza a location.
北西10キロの位置に市街地跡がある。エルモ号に乗り込むつもりならきっと包囲してくるはず。なら囲まれにくい地形に行った方がいい。全速力で向かって。
防御モードを解除して強行突破する。大ダメージを受けることになるけど。
乗り込まれる方がもっと危険よ。
了解。
Oh, the Elmo's gonna get beaten up. Ah, more doubt. As I respond to Groza's questions, I think as hard as I can about how to handle what is to come. As expected, picking up 404 didn't go as well as planned. Over a dozen enemies in IFVs is by no means a small amount, and Groza will probably have a hard time dealing with them by herself. However, the Helena escort mission is only half complete, and we aren't too far from Lviv. If we bring the girls back to the Elmo, escorting them there will probably be much harder, considering that the enemy has already been alerted. Springfield seems to have seen through my worries, because she turns to me from where she's standing off to the side and speaks.
指揮官、ヘレナさんは私とマキアートさんで護送します。ルートを演算してみましたが、ここからリビウまで10キロの情報網の範囲内です。鉄道関係者にもつてがあります。私たち
She's so reliable.
運搬できますし、弾 ダンデライオンさんもきっと協力してくださりますよね。
しょうがないわね。そういうことなら大陸間列車の一等席に乗れるアイデア
Wow, it's VIPs.
お手数おかけします。他の方とメラニーさんは指揮官とヘリに同乗した方が安全でしょう。
メラニーは私となの？
二人ともこちらと一緒だとリスクが高すぎます。ここに残すのももちろん論外です。連れ出した責任はちゃんと取らないといけませんよ。
Oh, I gotta take responsibility for my new daughter. Okay.
そうね。
Come with me, Melanie. Since I've already decided, I contact Rosa again and inform her of my plans. Meanwhile, Springfield studies the files in her hand and thinks about how to best handle the coming situation.
シャークリーさん、ヘリポートまで皆さんを送り届けてください。ヘリの操縦はあなたにお任せします。
店長は
マキアートさんと合流してヘレナさんを運ぶ準備を。コルフェンさんとメラニーさんもヘリポートまで送るよう手配します。
一緒に行かないの？ズッケロはどうなるの？
私たちがいるところがズッケルです。すべて終わったらちゃんとエルモ号に行きますから。指揮官、新しいカフェの場所開けておいてくださいね。
Can do.
ええ、待ってる。
I calm myself and look at the dolls with gratitude in my eyes. The familiar sense of security and confidence has returned to me.
ありがとう。本当に助かった。
The girls smile at me by way of response, and then we swing into action. Sentorisi helps me open the door, revealing a truck with the Zucchero logo on it.
また会いましょう。
はい、お気をつけて。
We load up on the truck, leaving Springfield behind. As the rear doors slowly close, I take one last look at this place and the safe house which has sheltered me, even for just a moment. And now we fight. No fear. And while I fight, I'm just gonna look up what time Little Caesars closes. I'm curious. Oh, it's already closed. Never mind. Oop. Mission complete.
お姉ちゃん止めてくれるよね。
Yay. I like your new daughter, Melanie. Melanie's great. Time to take responsibility. I'm surprised we didn't see her in any of the other events, so I'm wondering what happened to her now. Cause you'd think that she'd pop up more if we're literally watching over her now. I guess she moved somewhere else? Huh. Well, I'll find out next time. Debating if I want to just eat some cheese and crackers or ask if I can have some, like, food brought home. You know, think about that for a bit. And I know, right? I love the Bielka skin. She is adorable. I had to get that for her. Bielka's worth it. But I wish I got Andrus too. Next time, just next time. Like, oh well. But yeah, I'll continue more next week. For now, snack before some Kamen Rider. So with that being said, thank you for stopping by the stream. I hope everyone has a great rest of your day, Epic Gacha luck. And oh wait, she's a current banner. Shoot, I gotta think about it then for a bit. Oh no. Too many good banners. Not enough gacha funds. Yeah, I'll just think. But for now, I'll see you guys later. Bye bye. I also gotta do my fun smoke, you know? I should actually set that up first. Before I think about food. Okay, wait, let me just load my platoon. Fun smoke, start combat. I just gotta do it, so I'm not gonna care too much what I bring along. Yeah, no fear, no pain. Okay, support. Obtain, confirm. Load, please. Combat start. Okay, skip. And now fight. I need my rewards.